Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in and checking out another video. Just got back from the gym, had a nice little heavy bag session, made a fool out of myself trying to do some Lomachenko combinations and movements. Yeah. Anyways, I had a couple of requests to do a video on Lawerence Okolie versus Luke Watkins. And when I look at this fight, domestic clash between two young fighters going down at York Hall. Interesting matchup because I could see how both of these fighters have a shot at winning this matchup. Let's first start off with Luke Watkins and what he brings to the table in this fight. Luke Watkins, in my opinion, you watch him, vicious right hand. He also uses jab as well. However, his jab is lazy. And I think he's best suited when he backs up his opponents and can set up his jab at a close range without being countered because he'll land some body shots. His left hook and right hook to the body are good punches for him, and he consistently is a pretty good body puncher. So I would definitely say that's one of his biggest strengths. Physically, he's built, he's a very strong fighter. And when we move on to Lawerence Okolie, what he brings to the table in this fight, Lawerence Okolie has legit power, got a solid right hand, I would say is his best punch of his arsenal. He'll use his jab at times. He'll also use his jab hand to grab his opponent's shoulder or his head, depending on what's in the area, and judge range by that. So that's a weapon that Lawerence Okolie likes to use when you watch him fight. He's got that tall, lengthy frame. Also, his style is very hard to deal with because after every punch he throws, he seems like he holds. So physically very taxing because Lawerence Okolie is a very big fighter. It's hard to deal with a style like that where a guy constantly is leaning on you, pushing you back, and that's something that Luke Watkins is going to have to look for in this fight. Now, ultimately, guys, some of the I would say deficiencies that both of these fighters have. Let's first start off with Watkins. Watkins, in my opinion, defensively, he keeps his hands too low and he relies on head movement at times. The problem is when he thinks he's slipping these punches, he's actually getting hit with some shots. And versus a guy like Lawerence Okolie, you can say what you want about some of his skill, but I believe he does have legit power. Also with Watkins, I would say, in my opinion, he's solid overall, but he doesn't have the quickest hand speed, and he definitely prefers his opponents to be stationary targets, which will be an issue in the future for Luke Watkins, in my opinion. Now, Lawerence Okolie, some deficiencies that he has when I look at him as a fighter, very inaccurate puncher, and also his balance is not very good at all. Those are consistently two issues I see when you watch him box. However, Lawerence Okolie did have extensive amateur pedigree. He did medal in the Olympics, so obviously he actually looked very impressive in the Olympics. I remember watching him and being like, wow, this guy's actually pretty good. So I think it's just a transition into the pro games. He needs to gain more experience. Both of these guys do, and that's what makes it such an interesting fight. So ultimately, when I look at this fight, some keys for both of these fighters. Lawerence Okolie has got to establish his jab early, in my opinion, to keep Luke Watkins from getting on the inside and landing his vicious body shots that he has at times. And also, if you're Luke Watkins, you have to figure out defensively what you're going to do when Lawerence Okolie continuously holds on you because he's going to wear you down throughout this fight if you engage with him every time he holds you. You know what I mean? You got to have a strategy. Like, for example, when you looked at Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko, when Klitschko would hold, Joshua would throw that uppercut, and he practiced that continuously in camp. So let's see what Watkins has up his sleeve. Not an easy fight. I could see how either one of these fighters could win this matchup, especially if Luke Watkins can close the distance and land consistently to the body and set up his right hand. Because I would say he's a much better body puncher than Lawerence Okolie, in my opinion. Now, ultimately, though, guys, looking at this fight, I'm going to have to go with Lawerence Okolie. The reason why is I think that Watkins has defensive deficiencies, and I think that Okolie's style, where he's a big man as well, of continuously wearing on his opponent with this clinch and holding he does, I think it's going to tax Luke Watkins out, and I think eventually he'll get stopped late in this fight, in my opinion, by probably a right hand by Okolie, I would say. However, it's going to be an interesting fight for however it lasts, and really it depends on who implements their game plan better and how Lawerence Okolie deals with, I would say, the toughest test of his career in Luke Watkins, in my opinion, because Watkins is physically strong. I found that Okolie has had the huge strength advantage over a lot of his opponents. In this fight, he does not. However, I will be taking Lawerence Okolie to win this matchup by a late stoppage. Let me know what you guys think on this fight. Ultimately, what do you guys think about both of these fighters, by the way? Luke Watkins, I've only ever seen him fight once, so I had to go back and look at some footage. Wasn't a ton of footage on him though. Coley I've seen fight a few times. So let me know what you guys think on these fighters anyways, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking out the video. Appreciate it.